Welcome back to YouTube's best UK pension transfer channel. So today we're going to be discussing why it has become increasingly difficult to complete a final salary pension transfer and what you should be doing about this if you wish to have an authorised DB advice process. Okay, so we have to backtrack for this a little bit. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, it was very easy to complete pension transfer with clients. You simply needed a proof of address, proof of identity, have they signed their forms for their new SIPP or whatever the product was. Okay, great, client can transfer. This led to a lot of misadvice in the industry. A lot of people giving up guaranteed safeguarded income for life, despite the fact they probably should never have done this based on their situation and requirements. Fast forward to where we are now with a few big milestones in between, such as British Steel, which really rocked the industry in the UK and highlighted to the FCA how the market was still too underregulated. Now it's arguable that possibly the regulation has swung too far in the opposite direction. The DB market now is extremely tightly regulated, which makes it a very expensive area to operate in as a financial advisory firm. As such, many financial advisory firms are simply hanging up their boots and saying, not interested. It's too expensive to be in that market. Our insurance premiums are too high. We can't even be profitable. So to any of you clients out there saying, oh, it's money for old rope, all the financial advisors, everyone's making a ton of money, you'd be surprised at the profit margins in the industry after all the insurance and premiums, etc. that we have to pay. So to go into this in a little bit more detail, I'm going to be sharing a few articles with you from online. The first one here is from the FT Advisor. We were actually featured, or I was featured in this article as well. This was at the start of 2021, saying the supply of DB transfer advice is a real concern. The defined benefit transfer advice market is showing signs of improvement, but needs more to be done to stop the flow of firms giving up their permissions, the industry has warned. There is concern that members will find it increasingly difficult to source DB advice in the future if the number of firms offering a wide range of services continues to fall. Effectively, the figures here, the number of active firms has fallen by almost half, from 2,426 firms in 2015 to 18 to 1,310 firms in 2018 to 2020. Effectively, what that means is the IFA market in the UK has basically shrunk in half over the course of those period of time. Obviously, that was the data from 2018 to 2020. If we look now at 2020 to 2022, whenever the analysis comes out, we will see an even further shrinking and reduction. Now, what this means is you've got fewer and fewer players in the market who are able to give you authorised DB advice, as I've already mentioned, because the PI insurance is so high. There's lots of ambulance chasing companies out there right now saying, did your IFA disclose everything to you, this, that and the other. When markets are going up and a SIPP makes loads of money, few people complain. But say the markets go down, suddenly clients want someone to blame. Oh, well, maybe I should never have done this transfer in the first place. It's someone else's fault. I signed the paperwork and went ahead with the transfer, but I didn't know what I was doing. Now, possibly some clients that might be very true. Perhaps the financial advisor was untransparent, maybe even signed paperwork on their behalf or did something else ghastly, which obviously they're not meant to do, which is why the client proceeded with the transfer. But in the large majority of instances, clients often are a bit fickle. They want us to do the transfer, but then something went wrong, they're looking for someone to blame. And there's a lot of lawyers and solicitors and ambulance chasers out there very happy to help clients try and get some type of compensation so they can earn their lawyer fees. There's another document here which is sharing from Pension Age. DB transfer market source a real concern despite positive signs. And again, it's just talking about the same things, about a significant reduction. It's got the same quoted figures here. They even have the AJ Bell senior analyst Ton Selby here talking about how the market was shrinking dramatically in the face of tougher regulation and rising professional indemnity costs, stressing many people that would benefit from advice simply cannot access it. So what this is meaning is, it can be argued that the regulation which is entering the market, is it actually harmful to investors? Because the providers who remain in the market, such as Cameron James and all the PTSs who complete our authorised DB reports, their insurance premiums and costs are going up. All of our work involved in the implementation, the paperwork, the CETVs, the transfer forms, our work is going up and up and up and up every week and month. We haven't actually raised our costs here at Cameron James in 5 years, and we don't intend to do so. But the point is, the market is becoming less and less profitable for the people who are staying in the industry, and this creates problems for clients. A lot of other advisory firms are having to increase their costs, which is fair enough to them, because obviously they're getting squeezed out of the market. There's another article here which obviously suggests from Money Marketing, obviously talks about perhaps repurposing the PensionWise service to try and help fill in that gap, because the £30,000 mark for someone to get DB advice is actually, whilst we have to be very careful here, because whilst £30,000 to one individual might be a very large sum of money, £30,000 to most individuals we deal with a defined benefit pension of some hundreds of thousands or £500,000 or £1 million, £30,000 may seem like quite a small amount of money to them. Maybe that £30,000 mark should be raised to possibly £50,000 or £100,000, and all the clients below that would obviously not have to go through such a rigorous DB advice process. One point I'm just going to cover off here as well is how quickly, I won't be sharing my screen for this one, but how quickly things change in the DB pension transfer industry. So very often clients are kind of talking to me and they're umming and they're ahhing. They're not sure whether to go ahead with an authorized DB advice process or not. They're going to take some time to think about it. They're going to whatever. They don't get in touch. You think, what's that client doing? I don't know, maybe they get back in touch again. It's almost as if they kind of have this idea that it's there for them at any point in time. They can just go and grab DB advice. It's really not the case. The cost of DB advice in the industry is going up dramatically. Over my 6 years as tenure as CEO, I've seen the average cost of a DB report rise from £750 to £3,500, possibly including or excluding VAT, depending upon where the client is. So we received this, this was 7 days ago, we received this email from one of the key pension transfer specialists that we work with in the industry, one of the biggest, one of the best, has a gold standard, hasn't had any big complaints from the FCA. There's no reason they exited the market other than as a business decision. No one shut these guys down. That does happen in the industry. Sometimes when the FCA can see a certain advisory firm is just shelling out reports. I mean, there was one instance of a guy who was producing 20 reports a day. It's simply impossible. These are 70, 80 page documents, should be very time consuming. Anyway, their announcement to us said, XYZ company, our PTS, has announced that following the resignation of XYZ, the CEO of the company, and with a replacement and impossibility in the current climate, they have no option other than to commence an orderly wind down of their business. XYZ have advised over recent weeks they've seen an unexpected significant shift in the defined benefit advice market, primarily driven by rapid rise in interest rates, rising gilt rates, and instability in investment and currency markets. As a result, CETVs continue to fall. Now, the pension transfer specialists normally up to say 250,000 or 500,000, they will have a fixed fee, maybe 3,000, 3,500, 4,000, 5,000, whatever it is. In increments over the top of this, they normally charge a premium of say £250 per extra £100,000 on the CETV. So recently we've seen CETVs of say £1 million go down to 600 or 650. So these guys are still doing just as much work, all the same analysis, but they're not able to charge as much because the CETV values have dropped. So what it actually means is they're still doing as much work, but they're not able to charge as much because CETV values have come down. XYZ will therefore no longer accept any business instructions from today. This is not, oh, you're going to have 1 month's notice. Oh, there's going to be a period of grandfathering. No new instructions from today when it was sent out. The team will discuss the current pipeline. They anticipate they will complete the advice process for all live cases, but will be looking to repay fees for any cases on their books which have expired CETVs. We look forward to updating you when we receive more information. So this is fair enough. It's the pension transfer specialist making an educated decision that from a business perspective, it no longer makes sense for them to operate in the industry. So for all clients out there, whilst DB suitability is one completely separate thing, if you don't think a DB pension transfer is suitable for you, you shouldn't even really begin a PTS DB suitability advice report, because it would invariably find that it's not suitable for you if you're not even confident it might be suitable for yourself. But for any of you clients out there who are still umming and ahhing and thinking, oh, maybe I'll do it in 5 years' time, maybe I'll wait for CETVs to go back and the base rate to come back to down to 0.1%, which might never happen again in our lifetime, you've just got to be aware that the DB market, the advice market, might not even be there for you. And I don't want this to be a scare video, and if you don't do it now, you're gonna never have a chance, but you need to be rational. You need to look at what's happening in the economy, what's happening in the pension transfer specialists. There's no, these figures are out there. You know, these are from the FCA. There's no hiding in the fact that the market is shrinking. The market is shrinking for a reason, and there's going to be less and less ability. In my professional opinion, I don't see the market expanding. I only see it getting smaller. Guys, if you'd like to book in for a free initial consultation with myself or one of our senior financial advisors, kindly book in using the calendar link below. And as always, take care with the UK pension assets. Thank you.